I want to introduce myself because I usually sit all the way in the back and in the student forums, and I appreciate that Dr. Hendrix has given me this opportunity to speak to everyone. I have been in financial aid for a lot of years, and every 10 years it gets a little bit crazy and then it settles down. But this year tends to be really unique because not only is it in chaos at the state level, it's also in chaos at the federal level. So we're getting hit from all areas. What I have been doing is every morning when I come in, I open up my email to see what is the latest and the newest thing that has come out of our state association or our federal association. Every night before I go to bed, I go back and see what the latest things are. One of the things that Dean Holley and I had really been talking about is how do we notify our students and the entire community of the changes that are happening. For the staff that's here and some of the students, what I have been doing, and every once in a while you will see an email from Maria Ramos on scholarships. How many of you have seen those? Thank you. Well, what I do is I actually get information from scholarships, but at the same time, I go out and I do searches on the web. On Friday afternoons or whenever it gets a little bit slow, I'll go in and I'll just start searching for scholarships in journalism. And I'll actually go to the websites of all of these agencies and companies and associations, and that's how you see them on the web, in your email, because I'm going out there and I am searching as much as I can. Sometimes what I also will do is I'll go to those companies that charge students a fee to get scholarship information. And what I do is I look at the list of all of their scholarships that they have available, but I don't contact the company. I go straight to the list that they have. And if it happens to be ABC Scholarship Company, I'll go to that company, avoiding them, and go straight to the company and start searching. And that's how I find them. And when I do high school nights or I speak to students, I always tell them, you can do your own scholarship searches. I do them, and you can find a lot of things that are out there. At the federal level, to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on, not only was it going to affect the fall, it was also affecting the summer. And in the law, which was made about a year or so ago, it was going to be possible for a student who had received a full Pell for fall and spring to proceed to get a Pell in the summer. It was called the year-round Pell. Well, when budget cuts started happening to finish off FY11, the current year that we're in, where the government almost shut down, one of the things that was decided was that that year-round Pell is going to no longer be in existence. But for this summer, we're going to be doing the Pell Grant program in the same fashion as we did last year, which enabled the student to be able to get a Pell Grant for the summer based on the current FAFSA application, current FAFSA eligibility, and the student does have to be enrolled in at least 6 hours. But that student is going to be getting a full Pell for this summer. What transpired is that in our office, we were working on what was in the law, which was, this is how you have to do it. What we had to do was to go ahead and look to see if the FAFSA was in this current year, look to see if the student had filled out a FAFSA for the next academic year, compare the two, and whichever one gave the student the better Pell, that was what we were supposed to use. Now, when we ran the very first batch, we found that a lot of students who had applied for summer had not filled out their FAFSA for next year. So what we would have had to do was to go in and award the students their Pell based on current FAFSA data, and then periodically go in and see when their new FAFSA for next fall would come in, review it, compare it to what we did, revise if we would give the student a better Pell, and if not, we would leave it alone. We would have had to do that all the way through September. Do that comparison continuously, on and off. Luckily, we actually are able to process much faster without having to do the comparison because that has been written out of the law. Now, for next summer, this is a whole year from now. For next summer, that year-round Pell is totally out of the books. And what will be happening is that the discussions are going to be made that there may just be no Pell for the following summer. The latest that came out this morning is that the House at the federal level is looking to cut back the federal Pell Grant program for next fall to be at the level of 1998. Right now, the federal Pell Grant program at the maximum is $5,550 for the academic year, 2 semesters, full-time student. The House is looking to cut that back to $3,080 some. So it's going backwards. What's happening now for fall, we don't know. We just know what is being talked about and what is in the books. Okay. It didn't disappear like the financial aid. Trust me, it'll come back. What we really are trying to do, and what Dean Holley has always wanted to do, is to notify the students of what's happening. What I like to do is just tell everybody, this is what's happening. I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But we are making progress in trying to find every single little avenue that we can get other resources for our students. All of the scholarships that are being advertised, and you will see them on the listserv, are external scholarships. That means they're outside of the university. Those students can go and apply. One of the things that I found interesting on this campus is that the students actually read those things. We need a password. Okay, everybody turn around, close your eyes so we don't see what her password is. Okay. There we go.
I'm trying to be as secure.
Now, what we have come up with is a system that this is the that's a big, oh, okay, here we go. All right, this is the home page of the financial aid office. Usually home pages say, welcome, within these pages you will find information about da-di-da-di-da, and that's what we used to have, but this is going to become our bulletin board to everybody. When students go to the financial aid website from any source and they come here, they're going to look at this piece of information, which is a letter that is going out to, it went out to the listserv for the students and staff. It's going to be going just about everywhere that we can find a way of advertising. And I thought if we can find the ducks, we will put it on the ducks and have the ducks just carry it around. What it's really saying, and how many of you have already seen the letter? Okay. Thank you, Jody. I know that you saw the letter. It is addressing what is happening in the financial aid office and straight across the state. At this time of the year, we typically are busy sending out award notices to A&M Commerce students, just like every single university that is out there. We are not unique. This is not just happening at Commerce. Every single school is actually going through the same headaches that we're going through and the same challenges. For the 2011-2012 year, the process of providing you, the student, with accurate information regarding your financial aid is really not typical at this time. Texas A&M University Commerce, along with all other schools, is in the midst of significant changes brought upon by federal and state legislative bodies responding to calls for significant cuts in programs at all levels of government. Financial aid programs are included. Some students really have not become aware. They know that there are cuts in the DISDs, There are cuts in other areas, but it hasn't really sunk in that financial aid is these programs. Until they're calling us and say, well, can you give us information? And what we're saying is, well, we estimate that based on this, as of now, we may be. A lot of definite answers there. But what we don't want to do is say, everything's going to be fine, you're going to get this, and then have to turn around and say, no, I'm sorry, but that's not the case. We go on to say, the effect of the budget cuts will impact several financial aid programs, most significantly Pell Grants, which is the largest entitlement program in the United States. It's also the most expensive that the government has. And that's why they're looking at it very, very carefully, because it is very, very expensive. Texas Grants is the largest program that the state of Texas happens to have. And that program, it's in the butcher block. There was one point when this whole conversation started was that there would be no new money for brand new students coming in. That was at the House level. The Senate wanted to do something different. Now they're working on the criteria to tighten it up so that the current students will continue under the same, but for brand new students, that criteria is changing. We don't know what it actually is going to be by the time the House and the Senate blesses it and agrees to it. Be-on-time loans. Be-on-time loans is also one of those programs that is on the chopping block. Reason being is that the Be-on-time loan program, if the student graduates within 6 semester hours of their overall degree program, length of the program, with a 3.0 GPA, that loan is written off. They don't have to pay it back. The program started in 1999. Yes, Cody?
And currently depend on work study to finish our degree program.
One of the strategies that we're putting in place in the office, because work study actually, I got a little bit of money, believe it or not, I got a little extra money that we did last year. Priority is going to be going to the current students. We want to be able to, those students who have been working here can continue to work. If we have any money left over after we fund our students and put them in the jobs that you have, we will go and start adding brand new students in, but priority is for our current students who are here. Why? You're already working, your department already needs you, you're already used to each other, and we're going to keep you in there. Okay. Source, computer, auto, no signal. To display help, press the question mark button. Okay. What transpires in the Be-on-Time loan program, which started back in 1999, was that if the student, as I said, graduated with 6 semester hours from the length of the program with a 3.0 GPA, that loan was written off. The student would not have to pay back the loan. And that was 4 years worth of loans. If the student doesn't do that, 4 years after, they go through school, 4 years, they graduate, but they graduate with under a 3.0, a little bit longer than their degree program, and they have to start paying it off. They have 10 years to pay it off. Then they also have no interest. So think from a accounting point of view is that the state is giving money out to students at the freshman level, sophomore level, junior, and senior, and then towards the very end, they're supposed to pay it back. But if they meet the criteria, they don't pay it back. There's no interest being charged, so there's no money being generated. So the state has to continuously pump money into the program because the repayments haven't been coming out as they anticipated. So Be-on-Time loans right now is also being looked at. There might be a little bit of money, and I'm talking about a little bit of money, but we don't know how much money. That's still up in legislative decision.